Experts by experience. Real conversations, real people, real stories.
Hello, and welcome to our Experts by Experience podcast. I have another guest with me here today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, Nick. My name is Heather, and I work at Offploy as a team leader.
Lovely to properly meet you. We've met many times.
Yeah, I've met many
Can
times.
you imagine if we did this as our first ever thing together? I know, too much. Well, lovely to have you, Heather. This is part of our Experts by Experience podcast. So it's a podcast that really examines the value of the voices of people that have lived experience of the criminal justice system in any capacity. So that could be they work within it, it could be they've lived through it, and whatever that looks like. So yeah, we're so grateful that you're here and are going to talk to us a little bit about your journey today. Can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and kind of what you're going to be talking about today?
So I'm currently a team leader with Offploy, but I started out as a candidate, a person with a conviction, getting support and trying to pull my life back on track after years and years and years of putting myself in a prison, to get that expertise to be able to change my mindset and have a fresher idea about what I was living, has made magical changes in my life. And I don't know, they saw something good in us as I was talking in these sessions and invited us for an interview, and I kind of got a job with them. And then I progressed to team leader. So I now get it fills me with so much joy, Nick. You've got no idea. Every day, either working with colleagues or working with candidates and sharing my experiences of having a conviction and all of the other stuff that comes with that, which is going to be me focus. The conviction was just the pinpoint. The rest is me and what I've lived through. But I get to say, I understand, I hear you and mean it. We feel that. And that is so, that's what I've been waiting for. For decades I've been waiting for that opportunity to really make powerful impacts.
Yeah. And that's huge, isn't it? Being able to say, not only do I try to understand or do I try to empathize, but I've lived something similar to you. I hear you and I know what that feels like. I can only imagine how, we see that in loads of parts of our lives when someone goes, yeah, I've actually been through that. It means so much more.
Yeah. When I can give solid examples of having to have a food bank voucher, living in a friend's spare room with a child, not having the job that I desire, but a job that pays, I get that. And I try to emphasise that when I am speaking directly to people who are being pushed down and dragged down by that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lift them up. It's all about lifting people up.
Yeah, and you're so good at that. I hear that from even just knowing you a little bit, that you're so good at that. And I think it would be helpful, Heather, just for the people listening, if you could share a little bit about, I guess, the personal experiences that felt challenging for you, and share as much or as little as you feel comfortable with.
Well, starting with standing in a custody suite in a police station. Nobody should ever have to do that, but there's many reasons why that happens. And thinking that's it, my life's over, what's the point? It's rubbish thoughts, rubbish negative thoughts, dangerous negative thoughts. But then having that continue for the next 17 years because I didn't have the knowledge of the justice system. it took speaking to an expert to make that real in my head, and not just what I'd made up. Basically, it was a made up scenario because it had ended and I didn't know. I had become unspent. I'd become spent, and I didn't know because I didn't have the slightest clue about the justice system.
Mm.
But then 17 years of thinking I've got a conviction, I've got to be so delicate about where I go and get employment, who I tell, is mind-meltingly crippling.
Yeah, to say the least, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think I've got this big secret I don't want to tell. I don't want to go for a job that needs a disclosure because I truly believe I've got this big secret. And it was huge in my head. I never needed a prison cell. I put myself in a prison cell. And the reality was so different. It just took a time to figure that out.
It's so interesting hearing you talk about, what you just said. I never needed a prison cell. My mind was a prison cell. I think a lot of the people that are going to be listening to this can really relate to that feeling of actually how we torture ourselves and our self-talk, and how we, depreciate our own value can be so damaging.
It really can be damaging. And very honestly, it came to a point where I was contemplating taking my own life, and, piece of paper and a pen in front of us with the pros and cons of why I should and shouldn't. And then having good friends and solid support to guide me to the medical services that I needed, and speaking with, it was just my GP. It wasn't anybody of any higher caliber. It was just my GP. And I'm in tears in his room going, I need help. I need help. Give me the pills. Give me the talking therapies. And he said some words, and if a pin had dropped, it would have deafened us. And he said, why are you beating yourself up? And that was powerful. That was so powerful.
Mm.
So powerful.
Yeah. You can feel the weight of that.
Yeah.
Of that question when you're in that deepest, darkest moment of, I'm feeling like I don't want to live anymore, and someone goes, just stops you in your tracks. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, that was it. That was why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you beating yourself up? Why was I beating myself up?
How did it feel? What happened in that moment?
I felt like he just punched us in the chest, but he actually never laid a hand on us. It was a massive blow of the dust off some thought processes, and I had to rethink about, and I must have spent weeks thinking about those words, the powerful words. What was I doing to hold myself back? What was I doing to prevent myself from being able to move forward? Why was I holding myself in that prison cell in my head and being stuck there when actually I had all of the power to break free? I had good friends. I had a great support network of professionals, Offploy and really good friends. I got very good supportive family. And why was I holding myself here? And it took a long time to realise that all of these negative things that was holding me here were actually powerful tools to be able to support other people. That was it. Stop using it as a negative and use it as a positive. Hence, I'm a bit more open now about my past experiences.
Which is just, I mean, you blow my mind, Heather, because you do, because that is like that moment where you're really reckoning with, can I live through this feeling of pain anymore? Is a feeling that a lot of human beings can relate to. But to have that reflection and to go, okay, what's happening for me here, and how can I use this in a different way? What was the journey from you feeling, talking to the GP, saying those things? What kind of happened from there?
A lot of self-kicking for being so daft, for holding myself in that negative space. a lot of watching and observing. So we have Offploy do employ people with convictions and past experiences of lots of different things, and listening and observing and sharing with in the safe places, like my colleagues, and being more open with my friends and family. We like to not burden somebody else with our heaviness. It's really, if they're true friends, it's not a burden. It's just a sounding board. I was never looking for a solution from anybody to go, oh yeah, please do this, or here is the answer. But just that safe place to be me. The one who made the stupid mistakes, the one who'd made the wrong choices, the one who'd tried to better themselves, but, kept tripping up and failing, to, okay, well, we're going to learn from that.
And to have room with those connections outside of yourself to be messy. Yes. We're messy as human beings, naturally.
We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to learn. And with that comes making mistakes and making the wrong choices. And that's our learning curve. And I've had a lot of learning curves.
I've had a lot of life.
Still stand, somehow still stand and still breathe and still feel good. And that was it. I enjoyed feeling good.
Yeah. Did you notice at the time, was there a lot of people that were kind of within, did you feel isolated, I guess is my question, or did you have those people around you, that family support network, those services? Did you feel like they were making a difference, or was it actually, I feel isolated in my pain right now?
I'd spent nearly 17 years feeling isolated in my pain and not speaking to anyone. So as soon as that opportunity came up and I recognised it was a safe place, I got enough to make me feel better and more heard. And I never really, I don't have 1,000 friends. Nobody needs 1,000 friends. But I've got some very solid friends. Count them on one hand, some very solid friends. And the more I was honest with them, the more they were honest with me. And it's okay for a friend to say, that top doesn't look good on you. Because they're telling you honestly, and that's what we want from our friends. So when we have heavier conversations and I come out with the words, I've had a conviction, never really expected anybody to go, yeah, me too. And that's what makes it more powerful. That's what makes the difference, and that's what being heard is so powerful.
I think it's hard to explain how powerful that is, isn't it? Because it's a feeling of, well, I can only speak for me. It feels like a feeling of I'm known, I'm seen. And there's so much erasure that happens with convictions and criminal justice systems. It's like you're a number, you're dehumanized. And for someone to go, I see you as a human being.
Yeah, that makes such a difference. It's like my prison walls in my head just came down little bit by little bit, a little bit more, because I had, I was using my friendships and my family members in a more positive way. And then using, going and finding the support I needed that was me. That was my choice. And that was quite empowering to be then heard again.
Yeah. It's a good segue into talking a little bit about what did that look like, accessing those support services for the first time. So that in that crucial moment of you needing that support, what did that look like?
That looked like I was a mental health challenge and a walking mess. That's what that looked like. It takes bravery to go and find those supports. It takes bravery to speak the words that have terrified you all this time. I have a conviction is a terrifying word to say to someone new. And it's, I got the opportunity to build up rapport with some people from different services before I could say those words, and knew it was a safe place to actually scream it in not a very nice human manner. He never hung the phone up. It was a telephone call. He never hung the phone up. He listened, and that made it more powerful. That made that whole rapport and connection so much more powerful. And for them to just nonchalantly say, I know a guy, do you fancy having a chat with him? Instead of, you can't talk to me like that, I'm going to have to end this call. It made it more valid and really cemented that we're still friends now outside of professional settings. That made it more solid, that was a human I needed in my life.
A human seeing you as another human as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But then speaking to said gentleman and recognising their lived experience of the justice system and the effects on their family. Now I get the pleasure of working with them and talking to them all the time.
So this is someone who you work with within Offploy now, right? Yeah. And how did that relationship build, and what did it look like accessing that service?
Because he could, that was scary. I don't think I answered my first call. So I'd received text messages saying, please expect a call from this number, because as we know, people who struggle to find work maybe have a bit of debt and they might not answer an unknown number. And I really don't think I did answer the call the first time, because I was past myself, nervous, anxious. Oh my God, I'm going to once again have to spill my darkest secret to a stranger. And then after speaking to him, it was like, oh God, why didn't I just answer the phone at the first call? Because just wasted about a week of panicking. And then I was just brave that one day. And he, within that first call, he was able to tell me quite quickly, you do know you're spent? Yeah. No, I didn't. It was that fast. He was giving me results that quickly. And then just to build up my confidence and my ability to go and find a job I actually want and not just need. From there was brilliant.
Heather, how did it feel in that moment to be, in your words, in the prison in your mind, and for someone to go, you're spent, by the way?
Quite a range of emotions. Where do I start? I'm excited. I'm free. I'm free from my mind prison. I'm now scared of the future I could have. Where do you go? What do I do?
So, like, even just hearing you talk about it, I'm like, where do I land? What feeling do I land on?
Yeah, what do I do? So I had a whole new future in front of us. Where do I start? So I got a job in retail and was amazing. And then he called us back and went, come and have an interview. We want to have a chat with you for a job at Offploy. And I said yes straight away. I didn't even think about it.
How was that for you, just being like, yeah?
I don't even finish. I think he finished saying his sentence and I was going, yes. Because it was like, if I don't say yes, I'm exactly back to where I was. So to take that, it was like leaping off a cliff. Truly, like excitingly scared, leaping off a cliff, to go from minimum wage, 0-hour contracts to full-time on a salary with prospects. Holy, fill the gap, fill the sentence. Like, wow. And I've had 2 interviews with Offploy for 2 separate roles and been so nervous. But if I don't say yes, I'm only failing myself.
I just think that feels like one of the most solid life lessons for anyone experiencing anything like what you've experienced is we can hold ourselves back. We can be, we can be the person for so many reasons that holds ourselves back. And it's just incredible that you were someone that went, I'm scared, I'm terrified, I don't think I can do it, but I'm saying yes.
Yeah, because if I said no, nothing would have changed. And I probably would have still been bouncing around for all I love, that kind of work, hospitality, retail, get some great teams, fantastic managers. But what's next? And I've finally got me what's next.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Off the back of what you've just said, how do you think moving through this adversity that you've had has changed your approaches to your relationships, life, work and personal life? How has this adversity changed those relationships?
Because I'm now more honest with myself, I now have more positive relationships with colleagues, friends, family, and the more positive experiences I have, the more positive experiences I want.
It's cyclical. It comes back around. Yeah. Wow. You're incredible, Heather. You really are. And it's just wonderful to hear you reflect. Yeah.
I'm just trying to put a positive spin on even the most catastrophe, the biggest catastrophe, because I've lived through the biggest catastrophe, and now everything's a learning curve. What did I learn from that about me, about the situation, about that person? What did I learn? And trying to use that in a much more positive way, and it keeps my mental health in a good place. It keeps my relationships in a good place. The more I'm honest with myself, the more honest I can be with other people.
Absolutely. And I think we could actually talk for hours, and I don't really want to.
We really could. Don't get us wrong, I think you're a really positive person as well.
Yeah, I don't want to curtail this huge, because it's a huge life story. But I think for people that are listening right now that maybe are, have just received their conviction and are really going through the motions with that, is there anything that you would say to those people right now?
Yeah, keep your mental prison to a minimum. We can all be disappointed in ourselves, but don't live there.
Wow. Thank you so much, Heather. And that's all we've got time for today, but I really appreciate you coming and talking to us.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and it's always a pleasure, Nick, anytime.
Experts by Experience is brought to you by Catch22. For more episodes, visit www.catch-22.org.uk. Now playing on National Prison Radio.